Greetings, Opals Libraries. In this tutorial, I'll be covering the Inventory module. I'll also be covering the Hit File Manager, which is used to scan barcodes into files and run against the Inventory module, as well as running an inventory by location. Before I continue, if you have any questions or would like tech support, please call 877-331-1022 and ask for tech support, or email support@opalsinfo.net. Let's continue. I'll start with showing the Hit File Manager tool for scanning barcodes, Admin, Reports and Tools. We'll go to the Tools column and the Hit File Manager right here. What you'll do is scan barcodes into the Hit File Manager, and as you scan, your scanner should click the OK button and the barcodes will line up here at the bottom. Save this to a file, and it's always a good idea to name the file the range that you scanned. Let's say you scanned all the 100s in your library, so name the file something like 100s, inventory, 2026, or whatever is a name that will help you with your inventory. If you scan a file in and save it and come back the next day, you can open this file and add additional barcodes to it and then save it again. I recommend having a folder for this year's inventory, and you'll see that I have this folder here, and it's Inventory Spring 2026. That's where you can put your files for this year's inventory. I'll just open it up and have a look. We see the entire collection or the philosophy inventory. Once again, the entire collection or my hit file, the philosophy location, and the barcodes I've scanned for that location. So I've scanned my philosophy location barcodes using the Hit File Manager, saved the file in my new folder for this year's inventory 2026. Let's run an inventory. Admin, Inventory. I have an old inventory. You don't need these files. Of course, you can close the inventory and save it, but if it was run a year ago, 2 years ago, you don't need that. The file is changed, or the library has changed so much that the file doesn't reflect the library currently. I'm just going to delete this file. You cannot have a file open or an inventory open and run another inventory as well. You have to close or delete the file. Then you'll get new inventory. The first inventory I'm running will be by location. Using my drop-down, I'm going down to Philosophy. It tells me how many holding records, 59. I'm running the entire Philosophy location. You have a choice to run it by call number range. So if you have different types of call numbers in that location, you can run against those call number ranges. In this case, I'm running the entire Philosophy location. I'm not running the professional collection, so I'm going to uncheck that. I'm not doing textbooks. I'm unchecking that. I'm doing G, the general collection. Your opals may show different item types. Choose accordingly. I'm not running journals. I'm just running my book in that location, my book media type. I never recommend scanning manually. That's where you scan barcodes live into the inventory module. You don't get to save the file, and if anything were to go wrong and you scan 500 plus barcodes or whatever, and you lose those, you'd have to rescan them. I always recommend scanning using the hit file tool or notepad, something like that, into a file. Let's find my philosophy location file. Browse. Here's my Inventory Spring 2026 folder. I'm using my Philosophy Inventory hit file of barcodes. I'll click Open. Now I'm going to add these to this session of my inventory. 41 barcodes, you'll see them on the right side. I'm going to process my inventory. I'm clicking Do Inventory. Note, Do Inventory allows for the reports to be created while additional uploads are still accepted, etc., etc. I'm clicking Do Inventory, and I have found I have 16 items that weren't scanned or they're missing. Let's have a look. View Edit. Here are 16 items that I didn't scan. Please note that they could be in a back room. They could be on a shelf somewhere and you forgot to scan that shelf. You can go to the bottom and you could print out a selected or print all and go back to the stacks, make sure you didn't miss a shelf. Or if you remember that, say, some of these books were in a back room, you could put a check mark against these books here and mark these as missing or remove them from the missing list, these selected items. So if you find some in a back room, you can remove those from this missing list. I'll uncheck these. You can mark selected as missing right off the bat, or mark all as missing. I always recommend print selected. Make sure you didn't miss a shelf somewhere, or these are in a back room, or they're on a display. So it's a good idea to print these and just think about where they could have been, or maybe they're really missing. Let's go back to the inventory result. I see in my inventory I have a book that the item status was classified as damaged, but I scanned it. Let's have a look. So this item was marked damaged at some time, but I've scanned it. You may want to go pull that book and make sure it's been fixed and take off the damaged item status. Let's go back. All right. Lost or missing. There's one item that was previously marked lost or missing, and you scanned it, so it's back. Let's click View and Edit. And I've scanned it, so I know it exists out on the shelves. I can mark Selected as available, or mark all if I had more than one. Let's go back to the inventory result. Loaned but shelved. This is telling you that there were 2 books that you scanned that were out on loan. Perhaps a patron shelved their own books. These 2 items were out on loan. You can return these. You could check all and return all of these. Mark all as returned. Return these selected. You could print these, go find the books. But again, these were marked as loaned, not returned. Maybe, again, a patron brought them in themselves and shelved them, and you scan them. So you'll want to get those turned in, and they're not part of the inventory any longer because they do exist. They just happen to be out on loan. Back to the inventory list. So once again, it's a good idea once you process to have a look at all the different variables, on order but shelved, withdrawn but shelved, claimed returned but shelved, etc., etc. Or I don't have any in this case, but if you scanned an item that doesn't have a call number, you can look at it and then fix that record with a call number, etc. That is running the inventory by location. So that this tutorial is not too long, there'll be a part 2 on running the entire collection inventory. Again, this part 1 was just the location, but trying to keep this manageable to watch. I'll stop it here, and you can watch the entire inventory tutorial 2026 in part 2.